Apple is finally about to step into the foldable phone world. And if the latest leaks are even close to accurate, the iPhone Fold Ultra could be the most dramatic change to the iPhone lineup. Since the original iPhone changed what a smartphone even was. After years of will Apple make a foldable iPhone rumors, we're now seeing a clearer picture, a premium, ultra-luxury foldable iPhone designed to compete with the best foldables on the market while still feeling, unmistakably, Apple. Now, quick reminder before we get into the details, everything here is based on reports, leaks, and pre-launch rumors. Apple hasn't officially confirmed the iPhone Fold Ultra yet, but the consistency of the information popping up across the industry is exactly why people are taking this seriously. So, what is the iPhone Fold Ultra supposed to be? Think of it as Apple's high-end foldable iPhone sitting above the standard iPhone lineup. Built for people who want cutting-edge hardware, a bigger screen experience, and a device that can act like a phone and a mini productivity machine in one. And Apple being Apple, it looks like they're not trying to be first. They're trying to be the one that feels finished. That's the real story here. Other companies have been shipping foldables for years, and they deserve credit for pushing the category forward. But early foldables also came with real compromises: creases, fragile screens, hingeware, software that didn't always know what to do when you changed screen sizes, and battery life that sometimes felt like it was fighting the form factor. Apple's strategy has always been to wait, let the tech mature, then ship a version that feels less like an experiment and more like a product you can rely on every day. And if the iPhone Fold Ultra lands the way these leaks suggest, Apple's timing could be perfect. The foldable market is no longer a novelty. People understand why a foldable matters. You get a pocketable phone that can open up into a larger display for multitasking, reading, editing, watching, gaming, and working. The question isn't why foldables anymore. The question is, which foldable is the one you can trust long-term? Apple wants the answer to be theirs. Let's talk pricing, because this is where the Ultra name really starts to make sense. The rumored iPhone Fold Ultra price is firmly in ultra-premium territory. The reported storage tiers and estimated prices look like this: around $1,999 for 256 gigabytes. Roughly $2,199 for 512 gigabytes, and about $2,399 for 1 terabyte. That is not casual upgrade pricing. This is the most expensive iPhone you can buy pricing. But strategically, it also makes sense. Apple can keep the standard iPhone models accessible for the mainstream audience while using the foldable iPhone as a halo product, something that screams innovation, luxury, and future iPhone. If you've ever noticed how a super premium model can make the Pro model feel more reasonable, that's exactly the kind of lineup psychology Apple is great at. Now let's get into the rumored iPhone Fold Ultra specs, because the hardware details are where it gets really interesting at the center of the device. Leaks point to the A20 chip built on a 2nm process. If that ends up being true, it's a big deal for two reasons: performance and efficiency. Foldables need serious power, because they're often driving larger displays and encouraging heavier multitasking. At the same time, efficiency matters even more because a foldable has less room to hide. A massive battery without making the device feel like a brick. A next-gen chip is exactly how Apple can make a foldable iPhone feel fast, smooth, and still get respectable battery life. Alongside that, the iPhone Fold Ultra is rumored to include 12 gigabytes of RAM. For iPhone standards, that's clearly aimed at multitasking high-performance apps and end-device intelligence features that are becoming more central to iOS, and this is where the iPhone Fold Ultra might quietly become Apple's most computer-like iPhone ever, not because it runs macOS, but because the combination of a big foldable display and high memory could make iPhone multitasking finally feel natural for a lot more people. On materials, reports suggest a titanium and aluminum mix for the durable and consistent with Apple's recent push toward stronger, lighter builds. Foldables have more moving parts, so build quality matters more than ever. The hinge, the frame rigidity, and how the device holds up to daily opening and closing is the difference between a foldable you love for years and a foldable you baby like a prototype. Apple's reputation is built on fit and finish, so expectations are sky-high. Battery is another major talking point. The rumored battery capacity is around 4,800 to 5,000 mAh. On paper, that sounds competitive for a foldable. But battery life isn't just about capacity, it's about display efficiency, chip efficiency, software optimization, and how aggressively the system manages power when you switch between folded and unfolded modes. If Apple really nails iOS 27 optimization for this form factor, the iPhone Fold Ultra could feel more consistent than many foldables that rely on brute force battery size to survive a day. Now here's one of the potential compromises. Weight. The iPhone Fold Ultra is rumored to be about 255 grams, which would make it heavier than some competing foldables. That matters because foldables are already thicker and more substantial than standard phones. And weight is something you feel every time it's in your pocket, in your hand, or held one-handed on a call. Apple can absolutely sell a heavier device if it feels premium and balanced. But portability is still a key part of why people choose phones over tablets. If this leak is accurate, weight could be one of the biggest debate points when real hands-on reviews drop. But hardware is only half of the foldable story. The other half is software. And this is where Apple could have its biggest advantage. The iPhone Fold Ultra is expected to launch into an iOS 27 era, where Apple is reportedly optimizing the entire experience for a foldable display. This matters because foldables live or die by the quality of their UI transitions. When you open the device, everything needs to resize smoothly. Apps need to behave predictably. The keyboard shouldn't feel awkward. Layouts should adapt without breaking. And the whole system should feel like it was designed for folding from day one. According to the reports, iOS 27 foldable features may include dynamic app resizing that smoothly adapts between folded and unfolded screen modes, an adaptive interface that intelligently adjusts layouts based on orientation, and split-screen multitasking that borrows the best ideas from iPad productivity. If Apple brings a truly polished multitasking system to the foldable iPhone 1 that feels as effortless as iPad split view, but tailored for a phone-sized device, that alone could make the iPhone Fold Ultra the foldable that finally feels mainstream ready for Apple users. And if you're deep in the Apple ecosystem, the iPhone Fold Ultra isn't just another phone. It's potentially a new hub for how you work across devices. Apple's ecosystem advantage is real. Apple Watch integration, AirPods handoff, iMessage and FaceTime continuity, iCloud syncing, universal clipboard, and cross-device workflows with iPad and Mac. A foldable iPhone that opens into a larger canvas could make those ecosystem features feel even more powerful because suddenly you have more room to do real work, not just quick phone tasks. Imagine opening your iPhone Fold Ultra and instantly running messages next to Safari, or Notes next to a PDF, or Calendar next to Mail, while everything stays synced with your Mac and iPad. That's the kind of Apple magic that sounds simple, but only feels great when it's executed perfectly. Now, it's not all sunshine. Even at this price, there are still trade-offs that could shape public opinion fast. Weight is one. Battery longevity is another, because competitive doesn't mean class-leading, and foldable users tend to be power users. Another potential challenge is durability perception. Even if Apple solves a lot of the classic foldable issues, the average buyer still thinks, is that screen going to hold up? Apple will likely have to prove durability through materials, engineering, and warranties in a way that makes customers feel safe spending $2,000 on a phone. So when does all this happen? The reported iPhone Fold Ultra release date window points to Apple's fall launch season, with a rumored announcement on September 8, 2026. Alongside the iPhone 18 Pro lineup, that would be a classic Apple move. Reveal the future of iPhone at the exact event everyone is already watching. Maximum hype, maximum attention, and an instant spotlight on the Ultra as the headline-grabbing device. And if that's true, the iPhone Fold Ultra could become the centerpiece of Apple's entire 2026 iPhone narrative. Not because everyone will buy it, most people won't at that price, but because it signals where Apple thinks the iPhone is going. The foldable iPhone becomes the aspirational product, the technology showcase, and the device that pulls the rest of the lineup upward. The bigger question is what Apple wants the iPhone Fold Ultra to represent. Is it a niche luxury product for early adopters, like a look what we can do device? Or is this Apple planting the flag for the next era of iPhone, where foldables become a normal part of the lineup over time? If Apple delivers a foldable that feels reliable, polished, and truly useful, not just different, then this won't be a one-off experiment. It'll be the beginning of a new category inside Apple's product family.